Hello everyone and welcome to a readathon wrap-up. So these are the physical books that I read for this readathon, but I do have some ebooks as well. So we're going to keep this fairly simple with describing things. So I'm talking about the Whodunit Readathon. This is hosted by Danielle from Boekweg, Naomi from Naomi's Bookshelf, and Paige from Pages with Paige. So we had three groupings of prompts. You have your character or suspect prompts, you have your weapon prompts, and you have your room prompts. So the rule is basically just to read 3 prompts in each group. And yes, you can double up as far as like, my understanding is like 1 room prompt, 1 suspect prompt, and 1 weapon prompt could all count for 1 book. Not 3 different rooms type of a situation, because you can't be in 3 rooms at once. So, and I completed that. I got at least 3 per room. Let's go ahead and tell you what I read. Now these prompts, like for the example, this first one is Colonel Mustard, because we're going through the suspect ones first, or the character ones. It's very loose. You get it to work. Like you can go with Colonel Mustard. He's a colonel, so something with military or war, something with a colonel in it, something that's yellow because of mustard, mustard on the title, mustard on the cover, something. So you kind of get it. It's very loose. You get it to the way that you want it to work. So for Colonel Mustard, I went with a yellow cover, and for this one, I went with The Silence of the Lambs by Thomas Harris. I gave this one 4 stars. It was 421 pages. We're following Clarice, as she's trying to work with the FBI. She is a student. She's not a full FBI person yet. She's not fully employed yet. But they are using her to help them catch a serial killer. She goes to Dr. What's his name? He's the serial killer, cannibal serial killer. What is his name? What the heck? Hannibal Lecter. It's right in the series title. Dr. Lecter. To try to get some. And you're trying to figure out, 1, who the serial killer is that they're trying to catch. And 2, who's playing who? Is she playing Lecter or is Lecter playing her? So anyway, this was fun. So this next one was Professor Plum. I went with Scalp by Carver Pike. This one I gave 5 stars. It was 308 pages. Basically, there are these lice that go from, whether you're human, they'll go from a dog to a human, human to human, bear to human, but they are, think, killer lice. They attach to your hair. If you're bald, they'll go to your eyebrows. If there's one scene where there's a couple having sex and the man gets it in his hair, but the woman gets it in her pubic hair, just because of the setup of how they are in the tent. So they don't discriminate against species, and although they don't go for, there is one animal that you will notice throughout the book that they don't really go for. But, well, technically I guess it would be 2 different animals. Anyway, 2 different species, type species. They will go from, you know, like deer to dog to human, etc. And when they attach to your head, they basically turn you into a zombie. So, and where it was lice, it was very unsettling and icky feeling. But I gave this one 5 stars. I went with Professor Plum on this because there's a good portion of this, one that's told from a student's perspective, and this takes place, now granted it's like a summer camp, so there's not really any professors there, but they are still teaching the students. There's one person that they really liked, but it takes place at a school and they're in a dormitory. So because professor is a teacher, I think college because of professor, that's why I went with that, even though it's not really a school time setting, it's a summer program for these kids to learn. So that's how I made that work. Number 3 was Mr. Green. I read Below Deck Mermaids by Matt Shaw. I gave this one 4 stars. It was 118 pages. You had this guy who purchased a yacht to go kind of sightseeing on this ocean, to go to different ports. And while they're out and about, they see this person laying in the water. They rescue it. Turns out it's a mermaid. So it turns out mermaids are real in this book. And then things start to hit the fan with the mermaid on board. And let's just go with that. So I went with that for Mr. Green because the water is on the cover is kind of a green. So kind of a bluish green. But because of the color on the cover, that's what I'm going with. The next suspect was Mrs. Peacock. I did not get a book to fit that. I just couldn't think of a way to get that one to work. Other than probably like a blue cover. But none of the books I read were really blue. I had purple, but nothing that had a lot of blue. Next up I have Miss Scarlet. For this one I went with an ebook titled Sour Candy by Kealan Patrick Burke. I'm sure I said the name wrong. Red cover, as you can see, so Miss Scarlet is red. That's how I went with that. Oh my heck, I loved this. It was a novella, 74 pages of 5-star goodness. Evil child in this. An evil child. Yeah, I liked this one. I have had nightmares, and I'm sure a lot of you have had. I know a lot of people have them, where you have a nightmare of your teeth falling out. That's something that does happen in this book, is teeth falling out. And that's all I'm going to say about it. And so to have a nightmare depicted on Paige was very interesting. So I enjoyed that one. And the last character was Mrs. White or Dr. Orchid. I went with Maynard's House by Herman Raucher. I only gave this one 2 stars. It was 272 pages. We have this guy who's a veteran. This is the, which war was this? Vietnam War. He goes to this house. He's gifted to it from a buddy that was killed in Vietnam. But you have questions as far as, did something really happen? Is he having a psychotic break with hallucinations? Is someone playing dirty jokes on him? So I just had too many unanswered questions where it just left me more confused by the end than not. So that's why it only got a 2-star from me. I'm going with Mrs. White on this one because it's a snow setting and snow is white. So, and the cover, I think, there's a lot of different covers, but a lot of the covers, it's a snowy setting. So that's how I'm making that one work. Now we are into the weapons. So we have the knife. So for this one, I went with Pretty When They Collide by Rhiannon. Oh, my pen stuttered there. The ink. Frater? Not quite sure. My pen ran out of ink, and so I don't have, I'm like missing half of the word, last name there. Anyway, I'm going with Pretty When They Collide. I gave this one 3 stars. It was 133 pages. The reason why I figured this one worked with a knife is because there are knives and daggers actually referenced in the book. And this one is paranormal. You have werewolves, you have vampires, you have half human, half vampires. And sharp objects are used to kill other fantastical creatures. So I enjoyed that one. Okay. Next up was the Candlestick. This one I am using because I went with A Sisterhood of Secret Ambitions by Sheena Boekweg. Feminist. I gave this one 4 stars, 337 pages. Really enjoyed this one. Just the secret society tries to do what they can to get women out of domestic violence situations, save them and their children, and help lift good men into more prominent positions, type of a thing. Think of, there was reference to like the words Underground Railroad were used. Now we know the Underground Railroad was used to help people find their freedom from slavery. In this case, it's to help women find freedom from domestic abuse. So that was cool. The reason why I'm using this for Candlestick is because there is a fire, like a very devastating fire in this book, and candles and fire go hand in hand. So that's all I'm going to say for that. Highly recommend that book. Weapon number 3 was Revolver. For this one, I am going with Bloodwalker by L.X. Cain. There are guns in this book. Plenty of guns in this book, like shotguns and big guns to kill this huge beast to try to kill this huge beast. I gave this one 4 stars, 280 pages, big content warning. You have children going missing, and there is reference to cannibalism of said children. Okay, so this does get a little disturbing regarding that, but the main thing is trying to find this person that's harming these children to kill that person and save the children. So, but there is talk of the death of the children. The next one is Rope, and for this one I'm going with a manga, Deserter. This is a collection of short horror stories written by Junji Ito. I gave this one 4 stars. It was 384 pages. The reason why I'm using rope is because there is a rope that is used in one of the short stories, and it is used to unalive said person in that short story. So because a rope is used, that's how I'm going with that one. The next weapon is lead pipe, and then we have wrench after that, and I did not get books for that one, for those ones. Now we are in, so as you can see, I have, let's see, so for the one, there were 6 character prompts, and so far I did 5. I read 5 books, so I definitely got the 3 requirement there. For weapons, there are 6, and I got 4. Yes, 4 weapons fulfilled. Next up are the rooms, and there are 9 rooms, and I completed 4 prompts. So the first 3 I have written down are hall. So okay, so let me tell you the ones I did not do. I did not do hall. I did not complete the lounge, the dining room, conservatory, and the billiard room. Those are the ones I did not do. I did complete the kitchen, and I went with Immortelle by McCarthy. 4 stars, 118 pages. The reason why I say kitchen in this one is what is used. What do you do in a kitchen? You cook. Now, and this one is maybe a bit of a stretch, but I say it counts. But even if you don't, at least there are 3 other prompts that I did do. So, but I said this one counts because in this one, the mother figure in this does pottery. And what do you have to do? You have to fire or cook the pottery. So there's a kiln to cook the pottery to get it to work. That's how I made that work. If you disagree, then that's fine, but that's how I made that one work. But I do have 3 other rooms that I did complete, so that will definitely work. So either way, if you say it doesn't count, at least I still completed the rooms because I still got 3 other ones. The next one I completed was Ballroom, and for this one I went with Salt to the Sea by Ruta Sepetys. There is a scene where people do dance in this. And what do you do in a ballroom? You dance, and a lot of people are wearing fancy shoes, and there are shoes on the cover. So, this is a young adult historical fiction, takes place during World War II. These people get on a ship, and there's devastation, and there's deaths, and this is told from 3 people, POVs, 3 different POVs are from people trying to survive this World War II situation. And one is actually told, I mean, they're all trying to survive, but one is told from a person who is a Nazi sympathizer and supporter. The other 3 are not. I gave this one 5 stars, made me teary at the end, 378 pages. I do recommend this one. Let's see, the next one, Library. I went with Carmilla, the First Vampire graphic novel. I gave this one 3 stars, was 100 pages. Written by Amy Chu. I don't remember right off who the illustrator was, but I did this one via ebook. My favorite part of this was that this took place in the 90s. So it was just great to be back in the 90s. So not a lot of cell phone usage, not, you know, and when you did see one, was there one in this? It was more of the brick type cell phone. If it was in there, but still, I liked the fact that this took place in the 90s. So that gave me a lot of nostalgic feels for that. As far as I'm saying that this works for library is what the main character that we're following actually goes to a library, picks up a book called Carmilla, and the library is referenced and library books are talked about, so hence library. And then the last one I got was The Study. For this one I went with The Haunted Tribe, book number 1, Declaration of War by Roma Gray. I'm going with this one. I gave this one 4 stars. I didn't write how many pages this one is. Okay, hang on. This one was... I got this from from a book sale at my library. 269 pages. So the reason why I went with steady on this is because we find out that there's a lot of learning that has to take place, not necessarily in a study, but there's learning about magic, there's learning about the Grishla, who is this animal that's out to kill this Native American tribe called the Whodunit, and there's a lot of learning about your heritage. So because you do a lot of learning in a study, there's a lot of learning in this book. So, and in this book, the Grishla is like a velociraptor. There's a lot of references to the movie Jurassic Park of how they portrayed the Grishla, and that's what they look like. But they're actually, I guess that term is used wrong in Jurassic Park, at least according to this book. So, but that's how I made that one work. So those are all the books that I read. So that's 3,192 pages. There were 31 days in the month. So that worked out to be 102.97, so almost 103 pages per day for this readathon. I gave one book 2 stars, 2 books 3 stars, 6 books 4 stars, and 3 books 5 stars. That worked out to 47 stars issued during this readathon. 13 books completed. That works out to a 3.62 star average. Let me know, did you participate in the Whodunit Readathon? Were you able to complete the readathon? Have you read any of these books or from any of these authors before? Let me know. Talk to me in the comment section below. And until next time, stay true to yourself and enjoy a good book, and I will talk to you later.